Alexander Black, the director of Lycanthropy, candidate for Best UK Short. Welcome, Alexander, and thank you for being with us today.
Hi, Jay. Nice to meet you. Hi.
So first of all, Alexander is a young creative producer based in London. He worked with a few companies like Vice Media, The Economist Group, and Google. And he produced Lycanthropy very recently, also thanks to a crowdfunding that supported him in the making of it. And his story is the story of Mark Kessler and John Mills. They are two detectives who are searching for a missing girl, and they happen to enter in this sort of mysterious atmosphere of lycanthropy, and what is hidden within the character of Mark Kessler, who's troubled emotionally, has something in his past that we don't know what it is, but is worrying him and is also affecting his professional life. And in a way, the story challenges the audience to rethink the difference between law and justice and how we perceive the villain. So without any further ado, I want to ask you where this idea came from.
So thank you very much for the summary, by the way. I think that was pretty spot on. I think so. The idea is obviously based on our legal system and how the police handle child abuse cases and how it impacts on, not just the victim and the perpetrator, but also a wider range of people who are involved in something like this. And it initially came from the fact that my partner is a forensic psychologist, and she's worked with a lot of different cases, not quite like this, but that have impacted her colleagues and other people in quite strict ways. So I think I wanted to show that and to explore the theme a bit more.
I see. And why lycanthropy? Why this sort of mythological reference in a way?
So I think when people hear lycanthropy, a lot of people think about werewolves specifically, but it also means the transformation of a human into a beast or a monster. So that's closely linked with the fact that, if you deal with bad people and with crimes, sometimes it can draw you in, and you yourself become, harsher and potentially bad.
I see. And about Mark Kessler's character, you say and you show in the film that he needs purpose, because obviously he needs this case to, in a way, be distracted from his personal issues. And I know with the short, you can't dig too much and show too much about his backstory, but what was your idea of his backstory when you created this character?
Well, I think there's some hints in the short film that, he might have alcohol issues, he might have certainly issues with his family, and there is a hint towards him being separated or divorced in the story. And I think for me, Kessler was the kind of detective who got too involved with his work and too passionate about his work, and it started to draw him in, started to make him angry, started to make him disappointed that he can't solve every single case, and that then impacted on his private life and his family life.
Right. And you say that, I don't know if you've ever seen a movie called Law Abiding Citizen. In a way, your story made me think about that movie, or reminded me of that movie of 2009. It was, because it's true, in the story, also in that story, the lead character is not it was someone who was a victim, and then he became a persecutor. And he, in a way, shows a level of coherency, which is beyond human understanding sometimes, because the law challenges in a way, and justice has a different feeling. So that's also what I perceive watching your film. And that, by the way, in a way, it leaves you with a little bit of imagination at the end, because you don't know who was being shot. So we actually don't know what happens. And we don't want to, we don't want you to tell us, actually. We want people to have their own imagination about this version of the story. But when you were thinking about Law and Justice, apart from your friend that you mentioned, and then what's your opinion about that? Is there something in your own life that made you think, especially transitioning from being a teenager who has a view of black and white, right or wrong, and then transitioning to your adult life and how you experience justice and law?
Yeah.
What's your opinion about it?
Well, I think that's exactly the point. It's not always black and white. I think most cases are very much grey, and even with crimes like this, there's always a huge backstory to how it came about. What motivated these people, what led them to the crime, and what triggered the crime. And I think that's something that as a society we need to think about, because it impacts how we deal with these cases, how we deal with these people, and yeah, I think I tried to bring that through with the film a little bit, and to show that it's not, it isn't black and white.
I see. And I know you're working on your first feature. It's another thriller. It's called New Washington. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. Yeah, so I'm just about finishing the script and the development process for my first feature film. It is similar to Lycanthropy, a dark thriller. So the story surrounds a sheriff who encounters a murder in his small town, and he has to solve that murder. However, it is set in a post-apocalyptic world, and as he walks out of his town and his community, he finds out that there's a whole civilization out there that was forgotten, or or he was forgotten to them. So it's very much a detective story with a twist, and the underlying theme is very much focused on institutional racism, and sadly a very current theme. So yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah, it's actually very recurrent. We also had another short candidated for Best Drama Short that is called I Resign, and he was touching particularly the case of institutional racism. So maybe we can put you in contact with him, if you want, during the festival days. It will be a good networking experience too.
That'll be one to watch. So yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. And by the way, about the making of the project, I'm curious, also because you got a crowdfunding, so the audience was intrigued by your idea. You succeed as both a writer and director in, convincing people to support you. How did the whole process go, and how long did it take you to complete it?
I mean, the process end to end. So I think I started writing Lycanthropy towards the end of 2016. And we finished with post-production mid-2019. It's almost 3 years. I think it was a very very insightful experience for me to write and direct and part produce as well. I think that takes so much time, and you have to get the script finished first, and then you can only touch the other things. And with the crowdfunding, so we raised about £4,000 for crowdfunding, and then had an extra £1,000 from personal finances to play with. So roughly the budget was £5,000. But the project was always very ambitious for a short, and even with that, very, very challenging to do. We had 4 shooting days, 3 of them being night shoots.
Which is trickier.
Yeah, and a lot of cast and crew who who worked on this for a very long time. So yeah, very thankful to everyone who was involved.
Yeah, we are thankful to them as well, because you made a great job in the end.
you. Thank
And
you.
you showed a lot of patience, and I'm sure also the audience was eager to know where was the story going, and finally watch it completed. By the way, if you have to point out, being this stepping from being a short film director to a feature film director, what's your main challenge at the moment? What's your main obstacle, and what's actually you think it's a good point for you? What's your strength in this transition?
Well, I think to some extent it's actually very similar, because I think Lycanthropy was such a big project that it wouldn't have been a huge way away from a feature. So I think that part was really good. I mean, my main challenge is, at the moment at least, to build a really good story, and I think that is the fundamental aspect of any film. And I'm sure that if the story works and is convincing, that the other things will come. So a good cast, finance, etc. But obviously, it's all about putting the story together, making it appealing, and then finding contributors and financing.
Mm-hmm. Do you already have a producer, or you're still looking for one?
Yeah, I'm still looking for one. I mean, at the moment, yeah, I'm focusing on the story. But I think, then probably in a couple of months, I'm gonna go up with it and see, to find some people to help me, and
Sure.
to start pitching.
Well, during the festival, you will be connected with other people who are, producers, directors. So you never know who you're gonna end up speaking with, and you might find your, the best chance for you.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm working on other projects as well, so it's always good to connect with people and find contributors.
Yes, absolutely. So, well, thank you for being with us, Alexander. And we want to remind the audience that you can watch Lycanthropy on our festival platform from the 28th till the 30th of August. You can also vote for your favorite film of the entire edition, either short or feature. And this was going to win the audience award. I really recommend you to watch the Lycanthropy by Alexander Black. So please do. And again, thank you, Alexander, for being with us.